What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Connor Ryan. Today I'm going to be breaking down and kind of, reacting to the Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer. The first one, not the second one. I might get around to it if you want. Leave it in the comments if you want me to get around to that. This is my channel anyway guys, do game reviews, game related videos. So let's get into it guys. This is Xbox Series X product. I think that's what they're rendering it on, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here straight away. Obviously you can tell this part is in, up in the Nordic lands, maybe Norway, I think is what they said, the coast of Norway. That's why you can see the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights up here. This statue here as well is Odin. Obviously huge in Norse mythology. He is the god of Asgard, he's the father of Thor. Pretty sure he's the god of like wisdom, poetry, death, whole other things, like magic was one of them as well. He'll probably be very prominent throughout the story of Valhalla, I'd say, and guiding Ivor in certain ways. Maybe in certain missions you'll see him or stuff like that. Resume the trailer anyway.
Godless barbarians.
Right here, hopefully, if they did this correctly, that she has horns on her helmets. Obviously everyone's like, oh, Vikings have horns on their helmets. That is completely false guys. Hopefully she'll be the only person, if this even appears in the game, that will have horns on the helmets. The whole horned helmet thing was kind of brought on by plays and dramas, couple of thousand years ago, like 18th century or 19th century plays. They depicted the Vikings with horns on their helmets. That's kind of where that came from. Real Vikings didn't actually have horned helmets. Here's Ivor preparing for battle, I'd say, more than likely. Graphics in this, guys, is just ridiculous. But Ubisoft normally have ridiculous trailers. Right here, longboat battles. Probably kind of like the last 3 games, going backwards through all the games. There would probably be naval combat on the longships, which will probably play a huge role maybe in naval combat against, like against the English maybe, or even just using them to get from one island to the next. But I don't think the map would be that big that you'd be able to go from the coast of Norway all the way up to England, which would be pretty cool, but doubt you will be able to do that, but we'll wait and see. Another thing that they used to do with longboats, I think, is that when a Viking would die, they would put them onto the longboat and burn the body and the ship and send them out into the ocean. I could be wrong on that. It's what I have heard though, but yeah. Right here, the English countryside, which is obviously where they're winding up here. A lot of them obviously wanted to move there to get away from the snow and stuff, where it was a lot harder to grow crops, whereas it'd be a lot warmer and stuff in England at certain times of year, so it'd be easier to maintain crops and farm and whatever, and agriculture, and even just building communities in different parts of the world is obviously what the Vikings were well known for.
They murder and kill blindly.
Right here you see Ivor, I don't know who the other guy is obviously yet, but sparing the women and children. He's not just blindly walking around slicing everything that walks towards him. The commentator as well, who was talking, we'll get into in a couple of seconds. I think he shows up in the trailer.
They scar the lands of England.
Right here, which is really interesting to me, obviously they're starting a community which might be in some part of England, who knows. They're obviously erecting buildings in the background, which would be cool if you could sorry guys, if you could base build in this game. Maybe that might be a thing, kind of like the Davenport manor, or back in Assassin's Creed 3, the way you could build that up. You might be able to build like a small community, obviously like I was saying earlier on, with farms and the kids walking around and stuff. But yeah, it would be pretty cool if you could do base building in this game, guys.
Lands they will never defend.
Another statue.
Never love. The time has come to speak to...
Here he is, guys. This is the commentator I was on with earlier on. This is King Alfred of Wessex. Obviously a huge part in getting rid of the Vikings in England. He was the king from about, I think it was 871 to 886, I believe. He was the youngest son of King Aedlwulf, who obviously had other sons, who obviously ruled before Alfred, but then he came along. You might think that the crosses here on his chest are Templar, but it's actually the sigil of House Wessex, which obviously he is the king of.
To them, in a language they will
The detail in this trailer is just ridiculous. It's so cinematic. Reminds me so much of the Vikings TV series, even the music here and everything. Preparing for naval combat and stuff. It's pretty sick. There we go, they're coming up onto land. Hail of arrows coming down top of them, ready with the shields. This game is going to be so good. If you can do massive ass battles, it's kind of like in Odyssey, but like obviously it'd probably be on a grander scale with next gen. It's going to be absolutely brutal, I'd say. Just absolutely hacking and slashing a bunch of English Anglo-Saxons as Vikings down in the middle of a field. The battles are just going to be ridiculous, I'd say, guys. And I think there's new things like decapitation and stuff in the trailer. Obviously Ubisoft is famous for, you know, downgrading their games from the trailers, but would be pretty sick to see new brutalities and executions in the game. There it is, that decapitation. Absolutely impales him with the spear. Another thing about the Vikings, going back to this, is they keep getting stabbed multiple times and they're still able to fight. It's because they were going what the Vikings called berserk, which derives from the Vikings, you know, if you're going berserk mode or a berserker, because they used to put the animal skins and stuff on them, and they thought that they were going through some form of trance, and it would cause them to go berserk mode, which is pretty cool. There you go. Like there, but he got stabbed and just chops your man up. There's Ivor. Hopefully throwing tomahawks replaces throwing ice. Would be so sick. Oh, that's for fun. Sorry about that. Going berserk mode, guys. Right there, first time I saw this trailer I thought it was Altair, as in kind of like the callback to Revelations when Ezio was going to Masyaf. But I'm pretty sure after reading somewhere it is Odin. That's why the Raven is surrounding him. And then you'll see in a minute he obviously disappears and a Raven comes out, which is famous for the Vikings, which I think is what Ivor's companion is going to be. Instead of like the eagle, it's going to be the Raven, which is pretty sick. There's the Raven.
Odin is with us!
Obviously Odin was with us, huge in Norse mythology, like I said. I also think he's going to be huge in this game for Ivor. Females in the background as well, so it's going to be obviously he plays a female character as well as the main protagonist. Just looks so real. You saw there his axe got chopped in half. I'm hoping that your weapons can break in this game. Would be so cool. It would be really sick if you had to like repair your weapons or, you know, upgrade them so they'd last longer. So kind of like in Breath of the Wild, if you ever played that game. There it is, guys. The hidden blade. The reason it is on top of his hand, which up on his forearm, a lot of people think is because he didn't really know about the creed yet, or he didn't want to be fully attached to it by, removing the finger back in those days, or, stuff like that. People think that he wasn't fully wanted to submerge himself into the creed, but still want to be kind of a part of it, but wasn't fully sure. But I think we'll see him progress through it and maybe become Master Assassin by the end of the game. Be pretty sick.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, available holiday 2020.
That is it, guys. That is the trailer. I will do, because there's more content that came out around the game about the season pass and certain missions that have been leaked. If you want me to do a video on that, leave it in the comments, guys. I'll get around to it. If you want to see more videos on Valhalla, I'll definitely make them, maybe with the lore or even breakdowns of certain Vikings and stories that they could introduce, or my thoughts, what I think might happen with the story of Ivor. Yeah, if you like the video, guys, like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.